Final Fantasy. I knew it. Joe has my gratitude for lending courage of the lollipops. Not disposed of the rest of their lovers. Several of our guests have elected to accompany my countrymen to their station. Some few may still come hither seeking counsel, and so shall I remain to aid them as need to be. If thou art needed elsewhere, do not let me detain them. As a matter of fact, I was hoping you might check on Alison. Last I saw, she was struggling to carry an enormous pile of boxes out the west gate. I could go myself, but we both know whose help she's less likely to scorn. Not to mention that, much to my misfortune, I can think of several other things I ought to be doing. Until later. Oh, we love you so much, Reactor. I love you. Oh, that was so emotional. Oh. Damn. Heston, what are you doing out here? Crying my eyes out. No, I don't mind if you help with the boxes, but it's far from the most exciting of tasks. Are you sure? Half makeup out, and it's just the beginning of this stream. Well, I appreciate the assistance. We need to get this to Aporia. Time is short, of course, but they're full of organic specimens and samples, so try not to be too rough with them. Half-Note should be waiting for us when we arrive. I will see you out there. So I have time? Oh, wow! 3 minutes! Oh! There you go, Fourchenault. Oh, you're happy with the crates. Wonderful. You can put them there with the others. You have my gratitude, but how did you come to be involved in this? Oh, Reactor make me cry. So many things happening. Then I suppose I have 10 credits to thanks as well. We're wondering why we are tasked with bringing these boxes to Aporia to begin with. So was I. It turns out that this is base of operations of sorts. Those with the final say as to what is included in the ship's manifest can be found here. Father included, I suspect. That should be everything. You carried all of that at once? Are you trying to injure yourself? Oh, hush. They're lighter than they look. And not everyone has your delicate arms. I suppose we should let someone know that we've finished. Tearful is in the country yard. We can report to him. Why don't you come along? You should get credit for your assistance at least. Considering you were where we are, we might even learn something interesting. True. That's true. That's true. Oh my god. Oh my god. Alright, time to attune. Tearful. God, it never ends, does it? What can I do for you? We brought samples from Charlian Hamlet. Series 110. Series 110? The crates are by the entrance. Oh, thank you. I had expected one of my colleagues, but we are dreadfully short-handed. Just a moment. You are Fourchenault's children, are you not? Oh my gosh. Affinald and Alice at your service. You're well acquainted with father, I take it. What? I've been friends with your parents since our days at the studio. I remember when you were the high, waddling hider, and theater. Clearly, it's been quite some time since we've met. It is good to see you again, welding your father's now lit, no less. You knew our parents when they were young? What they're like? They spare no detail. I should like nothing more than to relay you, as I am meant to be in charge here, and remains of paperwork want for submission. We can help you with that in exchange for the sort of stories our parents would never willingly give you. Oh my gosh, am I gonna cry again? Very well then. There happen to be 3 sets of documents in need of delivery. So how about you each take one? Wait right there. You'll find a farm representative waiting to collect these near to the southmost structure. I hope I haven't kept her waiting too long. Never mind Affinald and Alice, I'm certain they will be back soon enough. Are you not one of the Scions of the Seven Dawn? I thought you were meant to be working on Aether burden. Kind of. I'm crying too already, so. Tearful's paperwork. I was beginning to worry he had misplaced his quill. I appreciate your help in seeing these documents to my hands at last. As for your other task, pray keep this between us, but I sincerely hope you Scions succeed. The Exodus is, without a doubt, the most monumental undertaking in the history of the Forum. And so, when we must be circumspect in all respects. Risk is privilege we cannot afford ourselves. It is hard, however, Charlene has ever been a nation of the curious. It would be a tragedy indeed if you were the ones to estimate your pursuit of truth. Quick and efficient, I dare say you have a talent for this work. The twins papers only need to be delivered to elsewhere in the facility, so they should be returning in any moment. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm gonna cry again. We return with no scrap of paperwork remaining on our persons. You know it. You both have my thanks, and my apologies for sending you on errand for below your ambitions. Why, even as a babe, you struggle out of your swaddling clothes, and that is quite enough of that, thank you. It was compromising stories of our parents that we'd ask you to hear, to reiterate. Of course. I've known your father for so long. I must have something. Well, as you know, part of why the level name garners such respect with Charlian is your family's storied history. You took and traced your ancestry directly to those who came aboard Newcraft's Hope, a lineage few can claim. I never thought much of it myself. It's not as though our forebears founded our nation. We were simply there when it happened. Nevertheless, it was traditionally being a point of pride. This is why Newkirk's pronouncement, renounce the ways of war and pursue enlightenment through knowledge and reason, has ever been our family's creed. Until your grandfather's time. Archon Loiso looked not to Newcraft's words, but his deeds. He asserted, in defiance of his peers, that choosing to save the great and the small from the rising tides was the true mark of our founder's virtue. Perhaps it was his expertise, his knowledge of ancient prophecy, and the fall of civilization that led to him to conclude that to eschew conflict at every turn was to consign mankind to his doom. There will ever be conflict, and calamity will follow. Thus, to ignore the plight of those one might conceivably say is not wisdom, it is indolence. You remember his words well. Indeed, Archon Luzo lived by the personal creed and used it. Lived by the personal creed and used every means at his disposal to bring succor to those in need, Charlian or no. No one loved and admired your grandfather more than his son. Yet, Fourchenault could not reconcile Fourchenault deeds with the philosophy of their forebears and his peers. A philosophy in which he believed so fervently, yet made a pariah of his father. Fourchenault agonized over this contradiction for much of his life. God's father. A son may carry his father's blood, but his choices are his own to bear. Is it not always thus? God's no Fourchenault crankly old goat, so I'm sure your butt heads often enough. Yet even so, you must know that you're constantly in his thought, every moment of every day. And that is not exaggeration in the slightest. Oh my gosh! You should have seen him when you were born, barely recognizable. He was with a kind of dumbfounded grin I'd not seen since he first took a fancy to your mother. He was practically skipping when he told me the news. Take my word for it, he loves you to an embarrassing degree. Doesn't look like! But he's also frustratingly single-minded. Once he decided that a given action is for the best, he will stay the course no matter who or what opposes him. A profoundly annoying habit when you're on your other end of it, as I'm sure you agree. Yeah, that's my face. I will say thank you for your insight. When next we meet our parents, I shall mention that we spoke. Try not to get me into too much trouble now. I need the farm on my side. Speaking of which, I thought I'd be getting back to work. I have to make sure those specimens you brought make it to their proper places. Or the cranky old goat You have my height. We can speak again later. I do. But why he acted like that? Hey, yo, you three. Oh, Gara. Gara, sorry, Coco hasn't driven you out of the forge already? For better or for worse? No. However, he has set me a task that requires more than my single pair of hands, and here you are. I could use at least one of you, but I won't object to more. Unfortunately, Alize and I have prior commitments, and we have delayed too long as it. What about you, Hassia? Can you spare the time? Of course. My number one rule, Garatia is bestie boy. Yeah. Perfect. This shouldn't take long. Tell me. Okay, let's go, Gara. In the event that our, and I quote, promised heap of adamantites falls right out of the bloody sky and into my lap, Master Coco wishes to be ready to put the proverbial hammer to unveil at a moment's notice. To fabricate these parts, however, he needs the flames in Coco's forge to burn hotter. He sent me to increase the amount of Aether being funnel to his furnace. The flow of the fire aspect Aether in Labyrinthus is regulated by an elemental reactor south of here, to which I have borrowed the key. The adjustments will require 2 people to carry out safely, but I can explain the process when we arrive. This is where we part them. We see you in Charlotte Helmet once the adamantites arrive, if not before. Alright. This way. Let's go. The reactor is housed within this facility. I'll be the one to go inside and adjust the fire Aether output. When I do, a rather large amount of water aspected Aether will issue from the vent and at the top. I expected this to attract at least a few elementals, which we would both rather not be drawn into the reactor itself. Just can I ask that you put down any that draw too near? They will pose you little trouble, I'm sure. Sure. Let's go. Wait here. All right. Did everything go smoothly out here? Yes. I thought as much. No major complications to speak of inside either. And the water Aether appears to be venting properly. I expected Coco will have seen a difference in her forge flames by the time I return. Since I have you, there was another matter I thought to discuss with you. Nothing terribly important, merely something I've been considering. Part of this I share with everyone, yet you, and only you, have been to Alps. As we have established, refined adamantite is a product of Alag, of the Empire's twilight years in fact. It was a material which saw much use as part of the Alligan's efforts to extend beyond the bounds of this world. Dalamud, of course, being the most prominent. Of those who would push further, expand Alaga's empire to encompass the heavens and the stars above. Perhaps the greatest was its infamous technologist, Amon. Oh my. He did. He must have had his own reasons. However, for there is no evidence to suggest that he retained memories of his life as an ancient. He only joined in the Asians once the empire was all but dust, as you know. If not his memory, though, what drove him to pursue the idea with such fervor? This may seem far-fetched, but what if souls, like minds, have a personality? So to speak, a natural disposition towards which they are inclined. We know with relative certain that it was the gross decadence and inexorable decline of Alag that moved among the resurrect emperors Zende. The empire's people spoke lightly of death and destruction, experimenting on those they deemed beneath them to feel the emptiness in their hearts. In facilitating Zender's return, Amon provided these languid souls with the means to free themselves from the mire of their own indolence. Or would have, had not Zender been convinced by his own death that life itself was meaningless. Amon's desire for his countrymen to conquer the heavens could only be a means to the same end. To instill the people with the new purpose. Like Hermes before him, Amon was plagued by how those around him lived, but could never bring himself to believe that those lives were devoid of meaning, and both of them sought that meaning, that hope in the distant star. Such is my theory, anyway. Ultimately, it is the consequences of their actions which matter. Their motives are of no moment, and yet, to reach those stars of wings of adamantite, to travel to the ends of creations and beyond, the promise of hope everlasting, that much I do understand. But enough musing for now. Why don't we see how Caucasus goes? Oh, Kara, you just tell me a bunch of things and just shift gear. Oh my gosh, I need to process that. Ew, I can feel those flames are blazing from here. Glad you found someone capable, girl. But there's not much left for you lot to do. Less you can conjure up that refining adamantite any faster. 88. I do trust you to deliver on your promise, I do. Only, I hate waiting. I want that adamantite and I want it now. We share your impatience, I assure you. Is there truly nothing else we can assist with in the meantime? I wish. This sitting about unbearable. Pity. The foreign frowns on recreational explosions. Well, As long as they can't prove it was premeditate, get your gun, I've mistakes to make. In that case, I suppose I should go and return the key to the reactor. I have one more look to make sure that nothing has gone wrong. Intentional or otherwise, I'm certain there are better uses for your time. However, I will join you in Charlene Helmet Canoe.
All set, I take it?
Oh,
We finished what we could. Delivered supplies, tracked down escaped animals. Trivial tasks as they may be.
oh yeah, and I was just crying.
That's enough, don't you think? If there was anything more important still undone, that would be a problem in itself.
The vessel is essentially ready for departure. All that remains is to load the final batch of supplies and see everyone on board. Once we've readied the ether burner, that is.
Ah, had a feeling we might find you all here.
Our consultations with the Loperites, too, have run their course. Pleased I am to say that our researchers' concerns have for the most part been allayed, though some insist on making adjustments to the very end. For their part, Livingway and her peers have graciously offered to stay and keep the people company, lest any lingering queries go unanswered.
All that remains is to wait for the refined adamantite.
Alphino, are you there? It's me, Cryo. Your special delivery has arrived. Round up everyone and come to the harbor at once.
Speak of the devil. Let us go at once.
Ah. Oh, this is inside. Oh yeah, these cutscenes will be different depending on
Master Fourchenault.
other content you have
urgent
done
news.
in the game. Raids and trials.
A great commotion has broken out in Scholar's Harbor. Your presence is requested with all speed.
Now, where might this delivery be?
What's gonna happen?
Oh,
Okay, no mysterious sound.
I'm sure it's very important, but we cannot accept these without the proper permits.
By the 12! Surely, these can't all be.
Ah, look at this! Ah.
Bleeding hellfire! They're bringing them by sea and by air. All these folks in these crates.
And more on the way. Got your adamantite right here. A bigger haul than any of these sorry bastards brought, and that's no lie.
Oh my god, I didn't understand anything he said. Ah, and more on the way. Okay, now I got it.
Yes, because you were charged with seeing the shipments from Gridania and Uldar here, along with your own. Give credit where credit is due.
Sounds like the sorry whinging of a sore loser. An hypocrite to boot. Ain't no way a scrawny whelp like you took a dozen steps inside a Dalaman shard.
I'll have you know I went all the way to the entrance. Furthermore, 'twas my contacts that enabled us to enlist the cooperation of the Sky Pirates.
Oh well. Also, Secret here has the same voice actor as Xenos. Oh, really?
Left you outside so you wouldn't get anyone killed, did they? Well then, credit where credit's due, you did a right fine job sitting on your ass.
How do you know those things? I didn't know that. Well, yeah, I know. I am video. I got you. I got you. Oh, nice.
Take that back.
Make me.
Make me.
I will not stoop to your level.
My, what a grand welcome party.
Hancock and Saraban.
We come bearing relics both sacred and Allegan, as well as a few other gifts that may be of help, to be presented with best wishes from the Eastern Alliance.
Aww.
Our friends in Bosnia, for instance, have sent along a few artifacts for the brave allies of the Resistance. That's you.
I myself have come with a sacred relic of Rayson Temple. 'Twas passing fortunate that Senri's dango craving brought us to Kugane. We arrived precisely as Hancock was making his arrangements.
Kugane. I say Kugani. Kugane.
Upon learning of your need, we made haste back to Hell's Lid, with our dango, never fear, and consulted with the other auspices. All consented to the lending of Tenzin's legendary Phoenix Blade for this noble cause. Suzaku and Seiryu were nevertheless worried that it might be lost in transit, however, and insisted upon accompanying me to Onokoro, where I had intended to entrust it to our Confederate allies.
Aww.
I thought instead to give it over to Hancock when we chanced to cross paths yet again. But alas, Seiryu remained ill at ease, and ordered me see the blade into your hands personally, or die trying.
We did, of course, need quite the impressive vessel to get it all here in time. Fortunately, our majestic associates have been more than helpful. 'Tis an honor to join the Warrior of Light on another adventure, they tell me.
Aww.
That is all wonderful to hear, but what of the extraordinary cost? I shudder to think of the ransom we must pay for such a bounty.
Fret not for your coin purse, young Alphino. Lord Lolorito looks ever towards the profits of the future, and thus the East Aldenard Trading Company went to some lengths to reduce the financial liability. And since the Scions funded the entire venture, not a gill need be rendered up in compensation. Everything is already yours.
Aww.
We funded the venture? When?
Don't let the name fool you. This coin keeper knows a thing or two about spending. When it comes to capital investiture, a sprinkling of gil here and there will not do. You need enough savings to make waves when it really counts, which is why frugality is paramount. We also had the benefit of a generous patron. Generous being rather an understatement. She has supported us from the shadows since the very founding of the Scions. We even had coffers to fill.
Mother! Oh.
Chameleons.
I remain, of course, an entirely neutral party. I simply thought our family's coffers were needlessly full. We can hardly take them with us on your teeny-tiny toy boat, now can we? And 'twould be a shame to leave all that hard-earned wealth unspent. Waste not.
Uh-oh.
However did you manage so much in so short a time, though? We expected word to reach only a fraction of our allies.
Did I not tell you I have my ways?
Oh. Poor Fourchenault. Oh!
Erenville! You were involved too.
Erenville! Fourchenault, yes.
I received a letter from Cryo after we parted ways in Labyrinthos. She explained what the Scions were trying to accomplish, and why you might soon require the services of the Gleaners, spread across the world as we are. I pray you do not interpret this as a betrayal of Charlie. I accept that the Form's aim in pushing us to our limits was to preserve what knowledge we have, and I bear you no ill will for it. Yet, in collecting that knowledge, what I came to appreciate most about our star is that there remains so much we do not know. That is why I chose to help the Scions, to combat the obliteration of those countless undiscovered wonders. I held no illusions that they would be less demanding taskmasters. Though, rest assured, if I had, I would have been sorely disappointed.
Uh-oh.
To make a long story short, the whole of the guild ship cooperated to ensure your call was heard far and wide.
What's this about a ship that can fly to the moon?
Oh!
And why didn't you mention it sooner? The one time you don't beg my aid, your problem's a bloody ship that can fly to the moon.
See it? You brought the team.
You brought the team.
Of course. Garland Ironworks' finest. You need only point us towards my new favorite ship.
Ah.
Oh, I nearly forgot. We stopped by Whirlit before coming here and picked up a package from Gaius.
It's been a while since I hear Seed's voice.
He's still of the mind that actions make for better penance than words, contrite or otherwise, so we offer none of the latter. What he sent is an Allegan relic Valens used.
Oops.
As you like us not suspect, we've also brought adamantite from Mordona's Dalamud shard.
Oh, nice.
I admit to some consternation upon first receiving Kryle's message. So few Scions remain at the Rising Stones now. Far too few for such an expedition. However, the Gleaners were able to secure us reinforcements. Idleshire's treasure hunters, not least among them. I know. How the Gobbyflock fought. Slowfix's gratitude for the safe return of his daughter has not waned, and he gathered his kin to our side with an astounding quickness. The clash between their machina and the Allegan defences was a sight to behold. I wager even you would have been impressed by the magnitude of the Gobby booms.
Fascinating as all this is, I fail to see how it explains your presence here. Does Razat Han not have more pressing concerns?
We do. Yet averting the final days would be the most expedient solution. That, and I am indebted to you.
Oh. Oh.
Though they chose to take their leave of Thavnair, those you saved in Galimund remain my people. My gratitude is beyond words.
Oh.
'Tis appropriate that I aid you in kind. If in the doing we bring salvation to others of this star, so much the better.
The better.
You will recall that I spoke of my father, Midgard Summer, and his journey across the great expanse. As he traveled betwixt the stars, his resplendent scales drank of the ether in those nigh empty surrounds, and imparted to him the strength to persevere. Thinking they might further your cause, I called out to my kin for consent. Ajdaya's answer was silence, as ever. Tiamat and Hrisvelgre, however, responded favorably to the suggestion. My sire, too, stirred from his slumber long enough to speak and say, "Very well." Thus have I brought you his own worm scales. Fit them to your purpose, and seek a worthier fate for us all.
You'd be hard-pressed to find someone else so familiar with the unique properties of dragon scales. So I invited myself along.
Bugger me, this is so unbelievable. I've gone right back round to believing it again. Forget a 6% gain in efficiency. With all these goodies, we could get 7, no? 10, no? 14 bleeding percent. Think of how far we could go. What we could do with that much power. What we could blow up.
If Kokol is duly convinced, then it must be true. In which case, the science end of the bargain has been fulfilled. Would you not agree?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh.
Yes, Father?
I know not what you seek of Hydaelyn, nor for what purpose you would take command of our ship. Yet this much is certain. To do so will be to dictate the fate of this star and the lives upon it. The lives of each and every creature, in their magnitude and their fragility. Do you understand? And are you prepared?
Coco sounds like some of my neighbors. Oh my gosh.
We have seen and we have felt how much each life shapes this world.
Oh.
And so we are determined to abandon none. We understand what is at stake, and we are prepared to bear this burden.
Oh, no.
Then I will bear it with you. I beg you, share your struggles with me. As family.
Oh.
You grasped my fingers with such tiny hands the day you were born. I thought my heart might burst. 'Twas love and happiness beyond expression. Overwhelming, and a conviction
so powerful that I trembled with something close to rage. I had heard the final days foretold. I swore to myself then and there that I would not let them steal your futures.
Oh.
The great exodus would succeed. Must succeed. No sacrifice or sin was worse than the alternative. If anything gave me pause, 'twas mine own father. The Archon Louisois openly decried Charlian's policies, a perspective which I regarded with increasing disdain as I grew older. Yet even as part of me thought him a fool, perhaps I also hoped that he, of all people, would devise a brilliant means to save my children.
Oh, boy.
A naive hope, but stubborn enough that I could never bring myself to keep you apart. No, that was his doing, when he perished at Fourchenault. As we pulled that twisted slab of Dalamud from the sea, I remembered the warmth of your newborn touch. Chastened, I vowed never again to suffer any interference in my mission to protect you. No matter that you yourselves wished otherwise. Detest me, fight me tooth and nail, I would suffer it, and more, and be satisfied so long as I could force you onto the ship. I was wrong. You two have grown so much stronger and so much wiser than I dared dream.
That's true. He does. He has to East London Cockney accent of 40-60-year-old man. Anogena's monthly instinct is... Ah, that's true. That's so true.
You have earned the right to walk your own path, and already begun to do so.
Good. Because there are things we care about, and people we love, and none of them is replaceable. Not a one.
Not one. Oh.
It cannot have been an easy journey for you to have come so far.
Oh yeah, they suffer a lot already.
We shall be glad to acquaint you with the finer details someday, once this danger has passed. All that we have seen and heard, that we have felt and learned in our travels. Ours is not a kind world, but it is beautiful. Always.
Oh no. Are you quite sure that's wise? After all, someone turns pale and flees the room when he sees so much as an envelope containing word of your adventures. Whatever will happen if he learns what you were really up to?
Amelians.
They're so tall.
Though I have wronged my children most gravely, I owe you an apology as well. I assumed that it was the Scion's influence that made them so keen to charge headlong into danger. Yours, in particular. I see now that said influence instead brought them together with the many fine people gathered here today. In which case, I hope you continue to guide them.
If we've finished loitering about the harbor, might I suggest we put our plans into motion? People are beginning to look confused.
Okay, wait a bit. Oh dear.
Perhaps you can spare a few words ere they resume the tedious lugging of cargo. You've no small number of friends and admirers here, after all.
Oh, so heartwarming. And I thought it just killed Zordia.
Your assistance is appreciated. Now, in an orderly fashion, if you please.
Ah. Oh boy. Oh boy. We finally managed to clear the harbor, which means the rest is in the engineer's capable hands. Hype, hype. Whew. Meanwhile, Father has issued to us an invitation. As we agreed, he will reveal the means by which Heidelin may be contacted. We are to meet him at Aporia when we're ready. Given the vital knowledge she holds, I suggest we leave without delay. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you for the care package. Hey, right here. It transpires, however, that the Pharaoh's method for speaking with her is not without risks. I'm curious to hear what those might entail, but regardless, be warned. Most of those who arrive with the adamantite have offered to stay and see to any remaining tasks that need doing. The Pharaoh has already asked for my assistance in overseeing the process, so you needn't worry about the thing. Thank you, Tatter. We're off to Aporia then.